All right, let's do it. Let me know when we're live. It is
Live now, but I gotta get the. I haven't seen the video up yet.
Yep, yep. Okay. I tell you,
There it
man.
is. Oh, this is the 28 minutes ago one, right?
Yeah,
Day
that's just
118.
that's just the event.
All right, sick. Sick.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we
Share the
go.
feed.
Copy link. And you already know how we do it. All right,
I wish you could
yo.
share to my story. You can't share to the story anymore. It's weird.
Really?
When I go share, there's no share on your story. Just share to feed. That's the only option. It's weird.
At everyone. Here we go. And paste and post. And that at everyone saves a lot of fucking time, bro.
I don't know if anybody actually sees it. That's the weird thing, but whatever.
I'm hoping.
Trying to
I'm
figure that
I'm gonna just tell myself it does.
out.
Share screen. Let me know when you're ready, and I'm good to go.
I'm good to go.
3 and 2 and Ty Barnett.
Ian Harris. The revolution is not afraid of pronouns.
The revolution is not afraid of real history.
The revolution is not brought to you by election deniers.
Hey man, some people are simply trash.
The revolution will not be brought to you by gerrymandered districts. 90% of our country doesn't have critical thinking skills. I think 50% of our country doesn't have empathy.
Ian Harris is good as fuck with numbers.
I refuse to stand for any flag or anthem that does not stand for me.
The revolution will not be brought to you by the letter Q or any other dumbass conspiracies.
The revolution will not be televised.
The revolution will be streamed live.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new, and you already know we got a lot of shit to talk about, episode of Critical Thinking Podcast. Ty Barnett.
Ian Harris, and as you can look to our, where I don't know where, I guess the Zoom fucks it all up. Left to my left. Yeah, I don't know. There's some fucking random guy just sitting here drinking some sort of goddamn black water. Sam Slade's back in the house.
It's just old school American Coca-Cola, guys.
Hilarious. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, bro. How you been?
Man, it's so good to see you guys. I got some exciting news right before we went live. I happened, I don't know how, I'll probably get cut out of it though, but I landed a tiny little role in the new Linkletter movie.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
I know nothing about it. So that's all I got.
Nice.
All right.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Unfortunately, it's not Richard Linklater. It's Bobby
Art
Linklater, his cousin.
It's Bob Linkletter. It might be a porn. I'm not sure.
That's true.
Hey, man, you know what? Any little bit helps nowadays.
It's a porn called Slackers.
That's literally all I have to offer on a porn set is any little bit.
Hilarious. Well, you know what? We're glad to have you here, bro. And for the people who have not seen Sam before, Sam is a friend and family of the show. He's been on a bunch of times, and we highlighted it last time. But Sam is also in the new film, The Iron Claw, which is based off the life of the Von Erich wrestling family. And so we're super excited because I want to hear what it was like to be on set and be around that. So I want to hear that in a second. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I promise you guys, you already know we will talk about the shit that's going on in the world. We're gonna highlight one of my new favorite Democrats, Moskowitz. That's my dude now. Him and Jasmine Crockett. That's my dream team right now. So we'll talk about that. And then Ian, of course, we will cover a bunch of stuff. We'll talk about the Iowa caucuses. I forgot. I didn't even show you the video. I'm gonna show you the video of them voting in Iowa. I don't. If you guys haven't, I think Sam may have seen it. If you guys haven't seen it, it's fucking bananas.
You know, there was only like 100,000 people total.
Yes, and so this is. But so here's what people need to understand. And you know what? Let's save that for later. I want to talk about something light to start the show with. So Sam, tell us first of all. What was it like To be did Kevin show up on set? Did Kevin Von Erich show up on set?
No, it was interesting. Zach and Kevin didn't meet until like the premiere or a couple days
Really?
before the premiere. Zach wanted to keep it completely separate. I was only on set for maybe 2.5, 3 days. Your boy has amazing timing, so I showed up the day after Zac Efron blew his knee out, insisting on doing his own wrestling. So a whole bunch of scheduling stuff. Most of my stuff was shot on the bus montage with the wonderfully sweet man playing Bruiser Brody. And he was a bunch of fun. It was a really interesting deal because it was an A24 movie, which means they have all the time in the world. This ain't CW. This ain't Walker. Like we're not out of here at 5 p.m., guys. We'll be here all night until we get this fucking shot.
That company is putting out a lot of stuff lately.
Dude, I remember though that was one big thing during the strike. They're like, well, independent film companies can still get the interim agreement. And then they're like, A24's got 9 films, and you're like, A24 is not. I mean, I know they're independent, they're not a studio, but it's like A24 and Neon are pretty much putting out 90% of the films that are out there right now. It's like, are they really independent? I mean, look, I would love to work with A24, but but man, they are putting out everything.
Yeah, they're a really interesting production house. I got to say, I wasn't crazy about the Ric Flair. He was a really nice guy.
Oh, bro, he was horrible.
Thank you.
Ric Flair was horrible.
Thank you for dunking that alley-oop I threw you. Yeah, I liked him backstage. I thought his promo sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish we got some Dusty Rhodes because
I was hoping they should have had you play Dusty, bro.
Dude, that's my passion project is to star as Dusty Rhodes. I'll put on the weight. We'll do it. Baby, let me tell you something. 255 pounds.
Oh, yeah, man. They should have had you playing.
Austin, Texas, baby. So
they should have had you playing them, bro.
They showed Dusty for a second, but he was really skinny.
Okay. Yeah, see.
How brutal was the scene where Carrie has to figure out the one-legged deal?
You know what? I thought they were going to highlight that a little bit more. They just kind of showed him on the bike, and then the next thing. I mean, it was a hell of a reveal when he comes from behind the counter, and you see that he's missing a leg, but a foot. But and we talked about this before. Actually, Ian had this image stuck in my head. He called him Buff Gene Wilder.
That's exactly what it was. I was like, "Come with me."
That's been fucking with me ever since he said it now. So, but again, aside from that casting, I think that I wish they would have spend a little bit more time on Carrie's story, because it goes deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know he was married. I didn't know that.
He was supposed to be. If all the tragedy doesn't happen to Carrie, we don't get Hulk Hogan. It's going to be Carrie.
Exactly.
By the way, Ben just said Swoley Wonka.
That's pretty funny.
Swoley Wonka.
Also, Corey, you said perfect body for Dusty, and I just want to say thank you. I've been working hard on
it. Well, yeah, you showed us the beginning of your workout schedule with the Coke.
Yeah. Just about 6 or 7 loads a day and a pack of cigarettes, and we're ready to roll, guys.
Yeah.
So
good thing you're training.
So yeah, man. And again, dude. So like I said, for me, I enjoyed it because I know the Von Erich story, to a degree, and it was nice to see someone tell the story. I've been trying to get people to watch the movie more and saying it's not a movie about wrestling. It's a movie about wrestlers. And so, if you go into it that way, I think people will understand. Like, I mean, people don't really realize how big they were, especially in Texas. The motherfuckers was huge.
Yeah, they were. What Fritz Von Erich built. It was a big damn deal at the Sportatorium in Dallas. And I think that branches off, and Dusty ends up down there, which I think they glossed over that, not to harp on that. but I did see A24 is it's pre-production or it just barely got greenlit. Guerrero family story.
Really?
But by the way,
I think
Sportatorium is that sounds fake. Actually, you know what it sounds like? That sounds like a sport version of a 90s comedy club.
yeah,
Remember how in the 90s all the comedy clubs were like the Laughateria or something. Oh, they'd have some stupid pun in it, right?
Dude, I'm sure. I have no doubt Kerry Von Erich at one point was teaching defensive driving on a Saturday morning at the Sportatorium.
Sportatorium.
He wasn't. You could drive like a crazy person in Texas back then.
Yeah, well, it would be not teaching motorcycles riding.
Not the best motocross teacher, probably.
Probably not. Yeah, it was good. I don't know anything about wrestling. I think I watched wrestling for about 1 year when I was 11. So I know nothing about wrestling. But I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. Yeah, like Corey says, it's really about family. And the crazy dynamics of the psycho dad and the pressure you put on kids and all that sort of stuff was pretty interesting. And I thought Holt knocked that out of the park, by the way.
Kevin did an interview and he said that he didn't like how they portrayed his dad as so assholey, for lack of a better term. And I've heard mixed stories. I heard people say Fritz was a son of a bitch, but I've also heard people say that Fritz loved his family so much that that's why he pushed him so hard to achieve something. And then other people
I think both those things were shown in the movie.
Yeah,
I just think
I don't think that I think that they made him come across like, if I didn't know the other stories of this, I would have thought like, God damn, this dude didn't give a fuck about anything but winning. That was it. You know what I'm saying?
No, but what I got out of it is not that. I got out of it that he really loved his family. He was all about the family.
Right.
But in his mind, there's always this balance of it all about him. And he failed. He didn't get his thing. So it's like the name is what's going to mean something. And so there was this weird, which happens a lot with people, where their ego and their family name becomes a thing. And then it's like, as much as you love your family and your kids and all that sort of stuff, they are tied to that. So they're tied to your ego and your name. And that pressure you put on them is, it can be, a lot of times I don't think people realize what they're doing, or most of the time they don't realize what they're doing. And I don't think he's trying to be an asshole. I'm sure there are times he was, but I don't necessarily think a guy like that's trying to be an asshole so much as, thinks he's doing the right thing.
Right.
And on some levels, it's funny. The one thing I was thinking about that, watching it, thinking about my life, thinking about my kid, and how much do I push? How much do you? Because on one hand, if you don't push, you don't do anything. People don't understand what it takes. Like, people know me. Like Ty will say, "Hey, Sam, I know we don't know each other that well on the personal level, but people who know me know I'm psychotic when it comes to like drive and persistence and doing shit. Like, there's nothing. If I say I'm going to do something, I will find a way to do it. Period.
It's
overwhelming.
It's a good and bad thing about Ian is, like I say, he is very driven, but it also helps certain things happen, like the short film. What matters that drive is what helped get it made.
I haven't got to talk to Ty since I watched it. Ian sent me the short, and my God, that's really nice work. Oh, man.
Although we got our first on Facebook. I had a little conversation about it. Somebody who hated it, and she was like, "It was contrived. It's not realistic." She also misunderstood it, and then when I explained it to her, she's like, "Oh, but the great thing about her, or not to go off the subject, but the great thing about what she said is she misunderstood so much of it, because she even said, and the filmmakers, I don't know if she realized she was talking to me, but she's like, we're trying to say this and we're trying to say that. And it was so obvious you wanted this person to be racist. And I was like, no. That's literally the entire point of the movie, is that we wrote it ambiguously so that you could think that this person was this, or you could think this person was this.
It's
And
all
at
about
the end-
perspective.
And at the end, you're supposed to realize, oh, my perspective was my judgment without all the information, just like the cops do. Just like that was the whole point. Like she was like, I mean, why? And everyone goes, why did he sit next to somebody when there was an open seat? I'm like, well, first off, people do that all the time. Second of all, that was a mistake. That one shot, there was only one shot where we forgot to put somebody in that seat because there was a light there. And the editor put that shot in and no one caught it until it was done. But that's there's only one seat that's got an empty person. And it was only there for a couple of shots because Bo had put a light on there. And I was like, no, we got to move that light. All the seats have to be full. But even if someone does sit next to you on a bus, why is that so weird? Everyone's making such a big deal like, oh my God, he's antagonizing her. Okay.
But also the fact of her saying it's unrealistic. Have you been to America? What do you mean?
I know we don't have great public transportation in Austin, Texas, and no one's concerned about it. We have a little baby train that looks like it's from Six Flags. But last time I was in Chicago, Tara and I got on the L. I think we're headed from Midway to downtown to the hotel or whatever. And a young trans African American woman gets on and announces to everyone, "Kill all faggot honkies." And I was like, Tara, we're back, baby.
Yeah, I mean, and my thing was, it was funny. I was like, well, realize that's the other thing is she goes, oh, that was kind of funny. And she goes, it's also just makes no sense that two people would go and rob the same bank.
What?
And I go,
They're not both rob.
I go, he's not robbing the bank. The other guy
Did you watch it, ma'am? Did you watch the film?
I think she just misunderstood. But the really funny thing about it is all of her issues with it were things that she thought in her head that, like, she goes like, well, the lady moves the purse and she looks all angry, but maybe she, and the guy looks at her like, she's racist. She goes, maybe she was just angry that the guy was sitting next to her, or maybe she moved her purse and she moved her purse to get it off the seat, not because she.
I'm glad I didn't see this chick's comment.
But here's the thing. I go, yes.
I am too.
But I said, yes. That's the point. Maybe she's annoyed that somebody's sitting next to her. Maybe she moved the purse to be nice. Maybe she moved the purse to be racist. He thinks
all about perspective is how.
It's all about the perspective of what you think watching it. That's the whole point of the goddamn thing.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't see your comment. Anyway,
but the point.
Two last things about wrestling. One, who Fritz von Erich reminded me of as far as his story as a father, real Joe P. Kennedy stuff.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that in the sense of he wants so much, not just to both of you guys' point, so much for himself, but so much for the name. So
yeah. And also flirting with Nazis and cursing your children.
Well, yeah, that whole thing, and then importing drugs and guns. But
I wanted to say though really quick, where I was trying to go before we went sidetracked on the what matters thing, is that my point was that when I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, man, there is that weird fine line of not, if you don't do anything and you don't push your kids, where do they learn persistence? Where do they learn drive? Where do they learn those skills that they're gonna need to keep moving forward?
Yeah.
And if you go too hard and you put too much of your own perspective or your own ambitions and expectations on them, do you fuck them up? Right? It's kind of like the thing where Mr. Show did a sketch about how all these famous, really incredible famous people were all like molested as children. Like it was like, it was like a thing where it's like, hi, I'm Albert Einstein and I'm a genius because somebody touched my butthole or whatever. And then the next guy, and they go through all these people, like all these people that are genius people were abused as children. and it was kind of like, so do we abuse them so that we have geniuses?
Hilarious.
And it's like, but it's a weird line, is it not? Like a lot of those, because the point is that this whole time it was like they're unsuccessful, but dude, you had multiple world champions in your family. You guys were tag team, like all of these successes, but in their eyes, they were all failures. It's very weird.
Well, because again, you saw that there were points where he was like, he kept saying, we want to bring the championship here. We want to have it here. We want to have the title here. And I think because it starts out with him saying that they kept the wrestling world kept taking the championship from him. They kept the championship from him. So
Right.
when his kids got a chance to get it, he kept saying like, I want to bring this home to our home. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little bit of both in that. But I want to say this real quick, and I want to get to you guys' comments in a second. You guys, great comments off the top already. And welcome to everybody. I'm sorry, I should have said that, everybody. Welcome to Corey, Zen, JE as usual, Curtis. What's up, everybody? Reggie's here. What's going on? Tammy, how's everybody doing? It's good to see y'all in the room. Jen, what's going on? Everybody that's here. What up, Dylan? So I will say this, in general, when it comes to parenting and how you push kids and all that stuff, I think it's your duty to inspire your kids to do more and encourage them to do more, but also help them understand that, yeah, you can have your own path, but I would be remiss if I did not tell you that that you are capable of better. You are capable of doing more, because I didn't get that push. I didn't get the push to go to college. I didn't get the push to learn about credit scores. I didn't get that push at all. So I had to learn bumping my head. So with my kids, I'm like, hey, listen, you can be X, Y, and Z. And if you apply yourself, you can do this. Right now I'm having a conversation with my youngest, trying to get her to pick a career, pick something that she loves, because, you don't want to spend your life doing a job that you hate, because that's most of the world. Most of the world does jobs that they hate. So I'm like, find something that you really love to do. So I believe in encouraging them. The hard part for me sometimes, man, is, where do you draw the line? Where do you say, okay, I've said everything I can say. I've sent you every inspirational meme I can send you.
Dance like no one's watching, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard. So because at the end of the day, you want them to be able to, because listen, we don't, comedians, when I remember telling my mom that I was quitting my job at the pharmacy to be a comedian. This is when the girls were young. And my mom, did her best to say, not to say, motherfucker, what? But she was just like, okay, and what are you gonna do for money? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna get paid to tell jokes. And she's like, wait, they're gonna pay you to tell jokes? So she wasn't being discouraging. She was just trying to be realistic. By the way, she didn't fully come around until she saw me on TV. Then she was like, oh, okay. It seems like it's working out.
Like, I just bought you a house, Mom. Yeah, but what's your backup plan?
Exactly. Yes. So I see combinations of both. And if, by the way, anybody in there if you have any ideas on the subject of the house, what's too much, what's, not enough. So let me read a couple comments, and then I want to bring Sam back in, to get his opinion on this as well. Cause I know you guys you don't have kids, Sam, but I know you have parents. So, so let me read a couple comments, and I want to get Sam's opinion on that. JE says, I produced, oh my God, why did I pick JE's comment as the first one? He says, he says, I produced a zillion knuckle children. They require no nurturing in the sock. Jesus Christ.
But you know what, though? But you know what? You could nurture them. You could push them to be better.
Oh my God. Corey says, she wasn't wrong though. LOL. That's just talking about my mom. Was like, what are you gonna do for working out and job and stuff? Tam says, a parent's only job is to let their children live their own life and to pick up the pieces when they make mistakes. I agree to most of that, Tam. I'm not gonna lie. There's a part of me that gets pissed off, and I'm like, I keep trying to help you avoid making mistakes. And if you keep telling me I literally know more than you, because I've been here, at least on these things, because I've been here longer. If I tell you enough times and you keep ignoring that and then just keep expecting me to pick up the pieces, that's not fair to the parent. But I understand what you mean by letting them live their life.
It is funny because, first off, a lot of parents are jackasses. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But that being said, it is funny how, when you get older, I mean, this is the oldest cliche in the book, that you go, you go, look, I'm telling you that every parent tells their kids things that they fucked up at so that you don't do it.
Yes.
Every kid goes, yeah. And then 10, 20 years later, every kid goes, God damn it, I should have listened. And then they tell their kid, look, My dad told me this. He told me I wasn't going to listen. I didn't listen. I fucked up. So I'm telling you so that you will finally listen to 9 generations of this. And the thing is, it never works. It never works. They almost always have to just do it, fuck it up themselves.
Well, but
we
now
can't
again,
stop trying.
go ahead, Sam. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Your thoughts?
Well, the first thing I gotta say is when I woke up this morning, Tara turned to me. She said, "Honey, it's the day for your birthday. What do you want to do today?" I said, "Hell, I want to go on Critical and Thinking."
Wish granted. Wish granted.
I said, "Hell, Ty and Ian know me. I know Ty and Ian." There's just a little Ric Flair for the kids at home. Thank you, Tammy, for the birthday wishes. Well, for me,
It's not today, right? It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
my mom
fuck
was always
off.
very supportive of the comedy stuff. I was doing open mics. So look, my house burned down when I was 10, 11 years old.
Okay.
And then the next week, my parents sit us down and tell us they're getting divorced.
God damn.
So
and then they also sat Sam down and took away his matches.
they took the matches away and my diapers. And I had to learn how to use the big boy potty. And
oh my God! Happy belated birthday,
from then on, I was
JE.
a very angry kid after that. Like prior to that, I was like, I would literally fucking cry if you told, like, you're waiting for your little league team to get on the court to warm up for basketball, and like some dad's like, "Hey, get your foot off the court. You're barely." I would have sobbed. Now after those events, I was like, "What'd you fucking say? What'd you say?" So I was angry for a long time. My mom supported all the acting stuff, all of the comedy stuff. My dad, who was a very successful trial attorney, he did not, and he didn't think it was so funny. I was doing Shock Jock Radio in Austin, and we we're trying to beat Howard Stern, and he didn't think it was funny. So then I get to a place where I get a job on this Illinois senator's presidential campaign. He's a long shot, funny name. And they win. And my dad had been a very political guy my whole life. Raised us on LBJ and JFK, and we got to finish the work. And then a funny thing happened to where when Obama ran, my dad being from East Texas, which is a very racist part of the state, somehow he ended up voting for McCain. And then when I worked for the Obama reelection, somehow my dad, I don't know if he slipped or something, but he ended up voting for Mitt Romney. So there, at that point, I'm like chasing, to some extent, I believe in all of it, hook, line, and sinker. I'm the biggest Obama bro there ever was. But you think you get that dad approval. Mm-hmm. And then the goalpost kind of shifted. Like I remember when I left to move to Cincinnati for 6 months in 2008, stop by my dad's office, tell him bye on the way to the airport. And my dad's wife at the time, I guess they're still married, I don't know. She looks me in the face and says, "No N-word will ever be president." And I was like, "I will see your ass at Thanksgiving." And just rolled into Thanksgiving, just Ric Flair robe, just
wait. Your dad was like a lifelong Democrat, and this is what his
Yeah.
Did he flip to the other side eventually?
He would never tell you that after voting for McCain and after voting for Romney. McCain, it was because he reminds me of my old man when he served in Vietnam. You're like, I kind of can give you a pass on that one. Then Mitt Romney reminds me of my clients, and you're like, I don't know if it's tracking. And then Hillary's just a C word. So you're like, okay, I don't think we're even trying anymore to cover this up. Like,
you vote for Trump?
Yeah. At least the first time. We haven't talked politics since 2016. So it's like you talk about being a kid and being pushed, and you're trying to go the way that you kind of has been set out for you, and then you get there and you're going like, what the fuck? The goalpost all changed. Maybe I gotta just do me. You know what I mean? But right. I'm now speaking from a much older perspective as opposed to the angry 12-year-old getting his matches taken away.
Well, and that's the thing, man, is like parents aren't infallible at all. It's just, I think a good parent, I forgot who actually said that comment earlier, but it was to Tammy's comment, for the most part, to keep them safe and let them live their life. And that's what it's about. I mean, if you see them making mistakes, your job is to step in and say certain things. What's scary though sometimes is when the parent doesn't really know what they're talking about, and or they try to push their viewpoints or their, oh sorry, I didn't know what the fuck that was out there. They try to push their viewpoints on the kid. And I've never been that guy. Like I've always said, hey, like voting. Like I remember me and my oldest would get into it about voting, and I would just say, hey, I just want you to understand voting matters. And she was of the mindset that it didn't matter. And I would have to explain to her, I don't know why you think that, but it does matter. And my daughter is a Black lesbian. And I'm like, I want you to, this is before they reversed all the shit that they reversed and before
How
they
does she
started
feel
going
about
after
that
them.
now, by the way?
Huh?
How does she feel about that now?
You can't tell her anything still. This is what I mean. This is the stubbornness of her
How old is she?
understanding that.
How old is she?
28.
Okay.
Well, so
So-
does she not think that politics had anything to do with losing her rights?
Well, to be honest with you, we haven't talked about it much because we got into such heated conversations about it that this is why I said to reading these comments, I'm like, at some point I had to say, okay, I have to stop this part because me trying to tell you this is not working. You're going to have to see it. And now she sees it. Now, I don't know what she feels about it now, but now she sees it because she's like, I'm like, they're coming after Black people. They always were. They're coming after gay people. They're coming after rights. They've taken women's rights. But again, when you explain this to someone and they think that you're just saying it just to say it versus like, okay, now I have to take a step back, let you see it on your own. And so I'm in a weird space with it because I've done both. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to tell you this so you can understand that it matters in your life to.
But that's what we're dealing with with these Trump fucking people right now. Everyone's like, well, they're gonna, when they lose their democracy and there's a dictator, they'll learn. Well, first off, they might learn, but there's a point where it's too fucking late. There's a point where, okay, so they learn dictatorship bad. Well, now what? You're gonna vote out a dictator? How does that work?
Well,
Right.
did you I want to see if I found that. I got a lot of stuff to show you. I got
Well,
a
here,
lot-
Ty, while you're looking for that, let me in my old man's defense, as far as policy goes, he only voted against Obama because he was Black. It wasn't his policies.
Really?
Good.
Well, no, I sincerely, completely believe that due to the fact that he's from East Texas, where the most segregated part of the state, and but at the same time, his father, who was in the Army and was the local general practitioner in town in Tyler, Texas, he buys his wife a new Cadillac, first new car they've ever had, and some punks in the neighborhood paint inward doctor on it because he would see Black patients.
Now see, those are the things that like I don't. And when did that? What year was that? When was those? How long? When was that?
2023.
Okay, and see,
Okay.
wait, no. So when was it?
No. From my grandfather, that would have been early '60s, very early.
Okay,
60s.
So what's crazy is if that's in the '60s, think about it now to where people are still attacking Black churches or synagogues, and they're writing those same type of things on people's garages. Those are the things that tell me that people have not learned from history. Those are the things that tell me that people either haven't learned or don't want to learn, which is worse to me. It's worse when you don't want to be better.
Didn't you see that they're coming to? Somebody recently just came to Dylan Roof's defense.
Yeah,
Some Republicans.
yeah.
You're gonna give Ty a stroke
because
with that,
again,
Ian.
you know what? So I got a bunch of stuff queued up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a couple things back to back, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. But it'll help people understand that when you think about this and where we are, because I have a strong feeling that this dude is going to get back in office. I just do. I see it coming. I'm already prepping myself for it. I'm not one of those people that's saying I'm going to leave the country because I don't have enough money to leave the country, but he will get back in office. I'm making that prediction today, January 18th. Now, when he does, to go back to the example I used for my daughter, and when the people who either put him back in office realize that he doesn't care about you. You're just a puppet. You're poor. He doesn't give a fuck about you. When the people who didn't vote or think it doesn't matter, when you see even more of your rights taken away, then you'll see the point. Now, but to Ian's point, it'll be too late by then, and then the rest of us will be fucked up. And so if you think I'm angry now, it'll just be ramped up 100 times more than that. So let me show you guys something. The first thing, and I sent this to Ian, and I was like, bro, can you believe that this is what motherfuckers are saying? Now, mind you, let me give you context on this. 200 plus years of the Constitution this, Constitution that, rights, freedoms, rights, freedoms, rights, freedoms. We need the rights, we need the freedoms. How dare, don't tread on me. Don't take my freedoms. Keep that in mind watching this clip and where the fuck we are right now. I honestly, I'm starting not to give a fuck, but here we are.
As a dictator for 4 years or re-elect Joe Biden for 4 years? I would
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Hold on. They hadn't seen it though.
Donald Trump.
You completely lost your mind. Here's why Trump supporters want Donald Trump back in office.
The other day, Donald Trump said on his first day he's going to be a dictator for a day. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Would you rather have Donald Trump as a dictator for 4 years or re-elect Joe Biden for 4 years? I would rather have Donald Trump. I'd like to see the repeal the Roosevelt law so that he can be a president for a lot more than 4 years. But this country needs a dictator. I hate to say that, but it's the truth.
And that's why it's democracy that is what's on the 2024.
He actually sounds like Paul, come to think about it. The announcer, not the dumb.
By the way, that guy wasn't white.
Think about that. So it went from 200 plus years of my freedoms matter more. My freedoms matter so much that I don't give a fuck that little children are dying because of guns. My freedom matters so much that I don't give a fuck how many school shootings they have. My Constitution says I have the right to have this many guns. But one person comes along and he makes these people feel like they're better than other people, and they say, I want a dictator now. That's not Joe Biden's fault, you motherfuckers. It's not Joe Biden's fault that dude wants a dictator. It's those people's ideology. Joe Biden's doing a great job. I'm so fucking tired of trying to explain this to people.
It's the same thing, Ty, though. They've never wanted, it's like somebody asked the other day, why do you think these evangelical Christians fell for Trump, the most unchristian guy on the planet? The fact is, you're dealing with the group of people, Republicans in general. And yes, if you're a moderate Republican, I'm talking to you too. If you sometimes turn your car to the right, I'm probably talking to you too. You are stupid. You are uneducated. You are shitty, selfish, mostly racist people. Not all of them are racist, but lots of them are. And that is not a judgment call. That is who you are. It's not the other way around. It's not you're this because of this. It's you're this because of this. They vote conservative. They vote Democrat. They vote Republican. They vote these things because they are selfish, shitty, racist fucktwats. That's why they're not smart and they're not educated. That's why they when they get cornered, they go, well, I think education should go away. Oh, you're learning
That's
facts
crazy.
because they're backed into a corner and they know. So the point is, when people go, the old days of the old Reagan Republicans, what happened to those guys? They're the same.
It's the same shit. Reagan was as fucking crazy when he was governor as Trump was running for office.
They're the same people. Now, look, the reason the evangelicals will vote for this guy and get rid of their Jesus and all that sort of shit. The reason this shit has happened. Some fucking guy who looks like he's fucking Native Alaskan or I don't know what that guy was definitely not white. He looked Latino or Filipino or something, and he's over there saying we need they want a white nationalist dictator. The reason is, aside from being really fucking stupid and really fucking uneducated, is these are the same people that normally they're like, freedom, yay, America, we're pro-freedom, we're all this. And then you go, how about a dictator? Well, because they don't care about anything other than what they perceive to be good for them personally. When you ask them, they will say, like the old thing of like, were you better off 4 years ago? Or what? Well, first off, the answer to that question is no, but that's a bullshit, selfish question. Well, my gas prices, well, my this, well, my that. We're not here for you, dumb fuck. We're here for everybody. So when these people go, well, how do these Christians go for Trump? Because they don't give a fuck about the message or the Christianity. They're not reading the documents. They're not reading the fucking book. They're not even really listening. That's just all talk. Well, John 3:16 said, blah, blah. All they care about is that they have a tribe of people like them that they can bully other motherfuckers for, and they can get shit for. They can get stuff that helps them. Oh, if I'm friends with all these people, I will get help. And we can drive around in our Trump trucks and we can bully people and be dickheads. And it's the same motherfuckers. So they don't care about all these guys are like, freedom, the troops. And I can't believe that motherfucker took a knee on my freedom. Do freedom,
Oh, that shit, Ian,
and they go,
that,
you
all
want a
that shit is
dictator?
over. They don't even have that anymore.
Well, except for I'm saying that Kaepernick can't take a knee because of the
Oh, I know. And at first, that kind of had you go like, okay, I get where these crazies are coming from. I understand, but now we're so far past that.
But the point is, how did this guy go to the? Because the freedom was just a talking point of their side. Now their side is saying we don't want freedom as long as we get what we want.
Right.
We don't get, and that's it on everything. As long as they get what they want, and they get to have supreme power over everybody else, that's all the fuck they care about.
This is what I want to add to that, to both you guys' point, because I had to look. I just want to make sure I already knew what it was, but I want to state this so people understand what it means that people are asking for a dictator. I looked up the definition of a dictatorship. A dictatorship is a government or social situation where one person makes all the rules and decisions without input from anyone else. Dictatorship implies absolute power. One person who takes control. A political situation, a family, a classroom, or even a camping expedition. So here's the thing. And I this is what trips me out about people when they constantly say, well, I'm not into education. That's indoctrination. You mean learning how to fucking read is now a bad thing? Tell me in the history, and our viewers here, by the way, same thing. Name one good dictator in America, in the history of the world. Name one good dictator. You can't, because there's a reason why they're dictators. Because they have the freedom to do whatever the fuck they want to do when they want to do it. So when that idiot says, I think America needs a dictator. Hey man, let me explain something to you, because I've seen a lot of movies and I know a lot about a lot of dictators. I've never seen a dictator say, okay, I'm only going to be a dictator for a few years. That's it. They never do that. When they get in, they realize that not only it was easy to get power, that you gave it to them. You gave them this power. So at some point, and Trump supporters will never admit this, he doesn't respect you. He doesn't. As a matter of fact, I know he doesn't respect you.
He's all about himself.
You know what I'm saying? He continues to lie to you. So you really think that if you put a motherfucker back in office and he becomes a dictator, you think that dude won't fuck you over? He already has a track record of fucking you over before, when he had guardrails. When he has no guardrails, do you think this motherfucker's going to change?
They've convinced themselves that look at what they say. It's fucking mind-boggling.
It's a religious cult now. It's a fucking religious cult, guys.
Look at what they say. You interview these people and they'll say, well, when Trump was in 3 years ago, the economy was amazing. Everything was great. It was the best. Now the country's gone to shit. And you're like, what's really changed? The only things that have really changed are for the good. We've got, the best recovery from, we got out of COVID. We got the best recovery of any country since COVID. We've got insulin capped at $35. We've got infrastructure going. So yeah, for a while we had an inflation like the rest of the world, but we got it down. Gas prices are back down to normal. Food prices are back down to normal. So when the country went to shit, and it was great 4 years ago, and it's like, it's complete fantasy.
Ian, I don't want to be the topper guy and like the corrector guy. Remember the 2 years we all had to stay in the fucking house?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
and half of that term of those 4 years that were so great, we were all trapped in the fucking house worried who we're going to breathe on, who was going to look at us in the grocery store.
But they say that was the pandemic. That was Joe Biden. Joe Biden, who wasn't in power, released that. so that
you
Trump
know
would
the
look
other
bad.
part of that is that when you because they'll say, well, the pandemic, yes, and do you understand that during the pandemic there was a guy who was in charge, and he fired the team that would help control the pandemic, and it got worse. And not only did that dude fire the team that would handle the pandemic that ended up getting worse, that dude is caught on audio lying about how bad it's going to be. Then he goes into the public, stands in front of the presidential seal, and lies to the people like it's nothing. And not only did that lie affect the country, it literally cost almost 500,000 people's lives.
No, it cost 1 million
No,
people's lives.
It was $1 million, Ty.
A million. It was
Yeah,
a
get
half
those
million
numbers
in
up,
the first
dude.
8
Yeah, get those
months.
numbers up.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. So when I see this, when
Hang
I
on.
see
Hey,
this,
do you remember when 3,000 people died on 9/11? Again, something we were warned about. We looked the other way for.
Well,
That was
and
the
we're still
worst,
talking
right?
about today. Never forget.
Right, what the
Yeah.
fuck? And now 1 million die of COVID due to bad information, due to people shitting on their doctors all the
and
time.
straight up lies.
By
Just
the way,
fucking crazy shit.
You know how many people died worldwide of COVID?
What?
6 million. So we are 1/6. Our 340 million people were by the way, the reason we don't need healthcare is because it'll lower we've got the greatest healthcare in the world, and we're the greatest in the world. And if we have socialized healthcare, it'll lower our greatness of healthcare providing. So yet we had 1/6 of the world's deaths. 340 million people were responsible for the greatest people on the planet. We're the greatest doctors ever. We're the greatest health system ever. Had 1 million, 1/6 of the world's deaths. And yes, half of those were on Biden's watch, but the fucking wheel was going downhill. We had to fucking slow that shit down. And it ended on Biden's watch. And it ended as soon as we got shit out there. And we got the proper information and got people vaccinated, and he slowed it down and ended. Then we had the economic stuff, and then they'll go, well, that's the problem. We should have never shut anybody down. They shut the world down, and that caused the economic blah, 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 blah. Well, first off, we had to do that. Second of all, Trump was the president when we were shut down. So you can't blame Biden,
but again,
the Democrats for being shut down.
It's just the easiest thing for them to do. I'm gonna show you guys another clip. By the way, yes,
ladies and gentlemen, Hunter Biden's dick.
Exactly. Ian Harris is good as fuck with numbers. That's right, JE. So hold on, let me show you guys some. Now again, so let's shift gears a little bit here. Because I'm trying to think if I want to play the Moskowitz thing. I'll play the Moskowitz thing after this. But let's talk voter integrity, because that's what it's going to be about coming up in 2024. Voter integrity. Trump supporters say we need voter integrity. We got to have voter integrity. We can't have free and fair elections if we ain't got no goddamn.
I just caught the faces me and Ian were making when you were talking about voter integrity. I was like, it's like two fucking like fat guys at a steakhouse being offered some vegan impossible meat shit.
Oh
and
my
you're
God.
like, what are you talking about?
So that's what they keep harping on. Voter integrity. We cannot have free and fair elections if we don't have voter integrity. We need to make sure we check IDs. We need to make sure that because even I don't give a fuck if they are 80 years old. We need to check their IDs because we got to have free and fair and accurate elections. Keep that in mind when we look at this bullshit. What the fuck?
And then they caucus like this. This is the voting method. They are putting votes into a brown paper bag.
Oh, goddamn motherfuckers. What the fuck?
Stuff it in there, keep it moving. Don't like grocery bags? Maybe you prefer popcorn buckets.
DeSantis. Haley. Trump.
Extra butter.
If that's not enough transparency for you, try this gathering, where they walk the aisles to grab ballots and then stuff fistfuls of votes into clear Ziploc bags. Can't get more transparent than plastic bags. Now, to be clear, I don't personally have an issue with any of this. I do not think people are going to abuse the grocery bags and the popcorn buckets in the system. But our friend Elie Mystal makes an interesting observation. He posts, "This is what voting looks like when white people know only white people will be allowed to cast ballots." Just grab them and count them. Just stuff them in. There you go. Pass it on. Watching this as the means
Okay.
of the votes and
All
ballot
right.
security in the
I got problems with the Iowa caucus, man. You know, I saw somebody at the Iowa caucus get asked, how do you feel about being first in the nation, or why is that? Like, they know it's in our state constitution. No. Just because you guys go first, you're not the tastemakers, man. Just like early fucking screenings of a movie.
Well-
Like, that's usually when we go back to do reshoots.
Yeah, hilarious. That's a good point. That's a good
And also, we do early screenings of movies in major cities where there's a large group of people with an education above third grade. No one goes American fiction in select theaters in Kentucky and Alabama.
Yeah.
Man,
Coming to Knox
it is-
City,
it is-
Texas.
It's one of the craziest things to see because we know what the narrative is. We know what the narratives they try to spin, but we also know what the truth is. And I said this, I say it on the show a lot, but what I don't understand is people's inability to own their ideology. Like, I don't get that. Like, it is my, like I love my friends, I love my family, you know what I'm saying? And I tell them that. I tell the people I care about that I care about them. I don't give coded messages. I say that. And if I see someone
Some of us could hear it more.
well, I love you too, Sam. So, but if I see someone try to go after my friends or family, I defend my friends
Right.
or family. I don't hide that.
Right.
My ideology on social issues is all the same. I believe in freedom. I believe in justice. I believe in equality. Same
You
thing-
know where you stand, and people know where you stand.
Exactly. So I don't hide behind weird words or catchphrases.
Is that
like
integrity?
that.
Is that integrity?
That's right. So when I see
that a
shit
car?
like this, when they say we
Enact your integrity.
when I see people say shit like, well, no, it's just about voter integrity. Hey man, pass the popcorn bucket around. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do this. But what? What is this? I'd rather you just say, we don't want black, brown, or anyone that we don't like having the right to vote. As long as it's us, we'll just do this shit like we'll do rock, paper, scissors.
And look, yet, like even Zen points out here, that they don't apply that to buying a gun.
No. And by the way, but importantly, over or under how many Werther's wrappers ended up in that basket?
Exactly.
But here's the thing. I point this out every fucking time. They go, you see these memes to the right wing. Oh, I got to show ID to buy a pack of cigarettes. I got to show an ID to get some alcohol, but I don't got to show an ID to pick the president. Well, first off, dumb fuck. You already. This is how voting works. I feel like these people have never voted. The way voting works is you have to provide that. In fact, when you get your ID in most states now, you click the thing to register to vote. So you are I'm at the DMV to get my ID. I register to vote. If I don't register to vote that way, I have to provide things like social security number, blah, 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 blah. I have to provide stuff. If that already matches with somebody else out there, or is not a real, I don't have the right address, I don't have the right information, I don't get to register to vote. That's how that works. Then, at least in California, they put you on a voter roll and in your zip code, and here are the places that you get to go to vote, right? Here's where you can go. And they send you an absentee ballot. You can vote absentee ballot, or if you want to vote in person, you have to bring the absentee ballot that was sent to your house that you registered with your social security, birth certificate, whatever you needed to provide to get registered. If you show up and they go, what's your name? And you go, my name is Bob Peterson. They go, where do you live, Bob Peterson? You go, I live at 37 Ridgeway Avenue. And they go, 37 Ridgeway Avenue. Great. Checked off. Yes. Do you have your absentee ballot? Yes, I do. Thank you. Check. No, I don't. Sorry, you can't vote. You have to go home and get that and bring it back to make sure that you didn't vote twice. It's happened to me. Okay, so you go, here's my thing. Here's your ballot. You turn it in. Now, if somebody else comes back to that voter site and happens to know your information, and goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Bob Smith, and I'm Ridgeway Place," and they go, "Bob, it looks like you already voted." That ballot gets pulled because two people are trying to vote, and or they at least turn that person away. If I go and I'm like, "Wait, somebody already voted," and it's really me this time, and somebody already voted under me, I go, "Whoa, whoa, 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 hold the fuck up," and I throw a sting. If someone's trying to fraud, if the second person who comes is fraudulent, and I have already voted, they just get turned away. If I get turned away, I will throw a major fucking stink, and I'll still have my absentee ballot, by the way. And I can send that one in if I need to. But how would they, but again, here's the other thing. When that person showed up and said Ian Harris, and they said, "Where's your absentee ballot?" He doesn't have Ian Harris's absentee ballot. So how did he get to vote? He didn't get to vote. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. And the fact is that when you get a voter ID, or when you get an ID, there are millions of people that don't have government issued IDs. And there are people that are like Tyson, 80, this is a big deal. They started closing DMVs in rural areas, rural black areas in the South. They started closing the DMVs. They said, "Oh, it wasn't busy enough," or whatever. So now you've got some 80-year-old black woman who's never driven.
By the way, Ian, it's not a for-profit business. What do you mean? There's not
Exactly.
enough fucking people. Like, what are we talking about? It's like,
but the real reason they did this, and this is known. There's memos about this, was because what that does is then they put in these voter ID laws. So now these pockets of rural black people who never had an ID and don't need to drive a car, now in order to get their ID so they can vote the way they've been doing it for decades, they have to now get on a bus and go 50 miles to a DMV to get a new ID. And they'll probably fuck it up because they're 80 years old and they forget to bring their fucking gas.
Misspell their name. I mean, everything can go wrong.
And then they just go, "Fuck it." And they go, "I've been voting for 80 years. I don't need no goddamn," and they just don't vote. That's what they wanted. That is exactly why there's voter ID laws. Then in Florida, they literally tried to pass a voter ID law, and they put on the thing that a college ID doesn't count as a legitimate government ID, but a hunting license does.
Come on, man.
Yep, we have that here. You can be at a publicly funded. I don't know if you guys heard. University of Texas, biggest college revenue of any sports program in history after this season. You can't use that ID to vote, but you can use that CHL. You can use that permit, that gun permit. You can use that hunting license. You can use that fishing fucking license.
Well,
so tell me that's not a straight up.
Well, dude, Ian, I asked a few years ago when Rick Perry was still 100 years ago when Rick Perry was still governor here in Texas. His wife was on a panel at a thing called Texas Tribune Festival, and we bring in a lot of national political figures, and we do Q&As, and we get up there, and Ted Cruz jacks off on everybody, and it's the whole thing. And I asked Rick Perry's wife why this exact question. And the fucking moderator told me that I was playing gotcha with the first lady of the state. When I said, "Hey, hi, quick question, Sam Slade, yeah, Travis County Texas Democratic Party," I just had to ask, so you can use your gun license, you can use your hunting license, you can use your fishing license, but you can't use your public university ID to vote. So are you playing gotcha? So I mean,
wait, hold up. Can I real quick? You know what you're. Ask me that question really quick. Wait, I'll go. So Sam, I can use this ID, I can use that ID, but I can't use my public ID. Go ahead and say that to me.
Yeah. So wait, I can use my.
No. I want you to say the gotcha line. Let's go. Say the gotcha.
Yeah. So wait, let me get this straight, Mrs. Rick Perry. I can use my hunting license. I can use my fishing license. I can use my concealed weapon carrying card, but I can't use my public college ID.
No. But then when the guy says, "So are you?" Are you playing gotcha?
Are you playing gotcha?
The answer is, "So you're saying I got you."
That's what I'm talking. See, this is what I mean by this is what I mean by this country being so fucking partisan that them admitting that they're doing shit, people look at it like, "Oh, look at this fucking guy. calling me out on the shit that I'm trying to do that's illegal. What the fuck? And
Dude,
people,
too far, bro. Whoa, man.
here's the thing. And instead of the people with common sense saying, well, wait a minute, if you're saying it's a gotcha moment, didn't that mean he gotcha?
I gotcha.
Right.
He gotcha.
Well,
So-
and I wouldn't have asked the question of all if they hadn't been talking about it and she hadn't been rambling on about the importance of voter ID. So
Well,
I figured it was open for discussion.
I'm going to say this again, man. And this is what I mean by it goes back to the people. I say it every week. So much so that where I'm getting fucking tired of saying it. The reason why Republicans do what they do is because the Republican voter allows them to do what they do.
Right.
Again, Republicans could just, as much as they're obstructing shit, because I want to show you guys this clip in a second, and Sam, you'll appreciate this because they bring up Texas. As much as they obstruct shit, you would think that a party full of quote unquote Christians, evangelicals, patriots, law and order folk, you would think that they would say, hey, listen, we got these motherfuckers by the brains. Like we got them by the strings. What we should do is actually do some legislation to help them because they've been loyal to us. They've been helping us out. They've been helping us win these elections. They have been fucking mindlessly following us. Let's put some legislation together to help them. Let's get them insulin caps. Let's get them better infrastructure. Let's get them livable wage. But they don't. So to me, the fact that the average Republican voter doesn't look at that and say, well, wait, hold up. Not only are you guys not proposing legislation to help me because I keep supporting you, you're voting against the legislation to help me?
Remember, they don't even read their own holy book, which is the thing that will promise them eternal life. Okay? So they don't even
Ian, it's a long fucking read, dude.
Yeah. They don't even read that. They don't care about that. They care more about Trump and their tribe than they do about they're not paying attention to any of that stuff. It's all just noise. They don't care about that.
But that just is okay.
All they care about is that the people next to them are like them and that they can put somebody around.
Hey, guys, remember like 2016 and we're all like, hey, I remember the three of us at some point, maybe first or second time I came on this program. And we're all very concerned because you can see where he's moving and where he's headed and where the policy is shifting and the way the executive branch is operating. And we're going, oh, this is getting a little fucking weird. And then people are going, it's not he's going to be a dictator or something. Stop.
Yeah.
Hey, look.
Everyone was like, quit using these stupid hyperbole that he's like Hitler.
Let me give you an example of what I mean by applying common sense to what you see in your life. And again, this doesn't take this example I'm giving you doesn't have to do with just being smart. This is just what applies to people in their life. So we have a home warranty company and they're shit. They're shitty home warranty company. They're garbage. They're trash. Now we were promised.
Are you playing gotcha? Are you playing gotcha?
Exactly. So when we first got with this company, we were promised certain things that they would do this, and this. And yes, this is covered, or yes, this is covered. So we try to ask all the questions that we thought we could possibly ask. And time after time after time, they did not come through. So much so to where you could tell that the people on the phone were looking at it like, why the fuck does this motherfucker still believe us? What the fuck? I mean, it was bad customer service, horrible customer service, to the point where I'm sure our neighbors were like, why the fuck is this dude yelling so goddamn much?
Yeah.
So my point in saying this is this. Once we got to a certain point of seeing that they were inactive and not doing anything that they said that they would do as we were promised, and they kept taking money from us every month. Every month we would pay them. After a while, we said, well, wait a minute, let's look and see what they've done for us. They didn't do this. They didn't do this. They barely covered this, and they barely covered that, and they give us shit every time we contact them. My entire point is, we said, that's enough. We're done. We will no longer be working with this home warranty company. We're not going to do that. We're not going to use this company anymore. That was me and my wife looking at a situation where we were promised something by a certain entity. We were giving that entity money. That entity did not come through time after time after time, and we decided we weren't getting enough from them. Now, we can't prosecute them. We can't put them in jail for being shitty, but we can leave. So when I say that, I say, you're telling me you're still supporting a party that not only doesn't vote to get you health care, they vote against it. You're talking about a party that won't get you insulin caps, they vote against it. We're not talking about a party that's sitting here trying to get you a livable wage. They literally vote against it. We're not talking about people that complain about the border and try to fix the border. We're talking about people who complain about the border, and there's literally a package right now that they can vote on to fix the border, and they won't vote on it. If you continue to support that party, at some point, I can't blame Republicans for continuing to take advantage of you. I can't, because you're the dummy.
Oh, man, you're the bottom bitch, dude. You're our murderer.
Yes. So I want to show you guys something real quick, and I want to get both of you guys' opinion on it. I told you this is my new favorite dude.
Before you do that, can I bring up a couple quick things?
Yeah, go ahead.
So because it's on the subject, okay, voter ID laws and whatever, I'm gonna do a little screen share. These aren't. I don't have any videos. These are just so you can see. These are things that are interesting to me. Let me just.
By the way, I love that half the modern day MAGA women all have OnlyFans, and we're talking about Christian values. That's fucking dope.
Even though I might check out some titties, I'm not against Republicans.
Hey, and that's your right as an American, Ty.
That's right. I love titties. Period.
All right, check this out.
Federalist Papers number 26.
All right, so
I put titties on this planet for all of us.
Remember, it's voter ID laws are not about racism. The true racists are Democrats, because the Democrats created the KKK, and the Republicans aren't racist. That's just a talk. Oh, you're always trying to put this out, pull the race card, blah 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 blah. Not a single Republican showed up for the GOP. All the GOP candidates skipped the only minority-focused forum at the Iowa caucus, and this is what the guy said. The person, the guy, what's his name, Ford, said about the Iowa, the minority caucus, people at the Iowa caucus. We've reached out to the Republican Party, whether it was Bush, Reagan, it didn't matter. We always reached out to both parties, Ford said. Over the years, we started recognizing that Republicans are not coming, but Democrats were. I'm disappointed that as of today, we have still not done a Republican forum at the presidential level.
They've never had one.
Was that?
They've never had one.
They've never had one.
Okay, so I was making sure.
They've put one on every year. The minority, what's it called? The minority focus forum. They put one on every year.
Let's be real. The name is kind of fucking wonky, right? Like, who wants to go to that with that name?
And they
set up a little.
They've never had a single Republican show up.
I was gonna go. I was gonna be there early, really. You son of a bitches.
The blacks love me. I've got a black.
Where are my African Americans? Right,
you know what, dude?
There's my African American. I've got.
Where's my Polynesian boys? Right there. I got herpes on my hands. I got the syphilis. It's eating my brain, really.
I've got them all covered. The blacks love me. I've got 3 Chinamen.
The blacks love me. The kinks love me. We're doing it all, people. Really, we're doing it. Driving nuts with Trump.
So during the same time,
okay.
Nikki Haley, Nimrata.
Use her full name, bro. Use her full
name.
Nimrata. I think it's hilarious that her name is Nimrod. Nimrata. Nimrata, which is the Indian, I think it's
the Indian word for Nimrod.
Nimrod, yes, it's Hindi for Nimrod.
For Nimrod.
So they asked if the Republicans are a racist party, or are you involved in a racist party? She said, no, we are not a racist country, and we've never been a racist country.
No, not ever.
So again, she said this exact thing twice, and not only has she said this exact same thing twice, she also said that slavery, the Civil War
Wasn't about slavery.
But,
Yeah.
but you
Civil
gotta
War was the Civil War was about economics.
you have to understand something, man. The fact that she won't run on her full Indian name should tell you that she knows that this is a racist
She
country.
made her
Well, I mean,
husband
look,
change his name. She
to
was
her
like,
credit,
"You gotta
to her
fucking
credit,
wipe
her
that
last
shit
name is
up."
Haley. To her credit, her last name is her husband. She changed her last name when her husband. So her last name is Haley. That's her husband's
No,
last name.
no. You know what I
But-
mean. She's
yeah.
not using the full Indian name.
What she'll say though, she'll go, "Oh, I've always just Nikki's this." It's like Bobby is short for Robert.
Stop it. Stop it.
No, it's like what's
it's the
short for
same reason-
Margaret that I always call. Boy, what's short for Margaret? Where you're like, how did you come up with that?
Maggie.
Yeah, you're like Margaret. Shut up.
But
Margaret.
that's what I mean by her knowing the history of this country. That's why she just says Nikki Haley. That sounds very American. Nikki Haley.
It sounds like a chick that rode the Sibian on Stern 15 years ago is what it sounds like.
Yeah. By the way,
she's
she needs one more K in her name.
exactly.
Yeah.
But now see now, so really
if you're spelling your name Nikki, that
Come
for
on.
sure is a
Well, look,
problem.
hey, I got to tell you guys, Tara, my wonderful life partner, she always has the best joke is President Nikki with an I. Really?
Well, listen, just like her and
President Bambi.
Who's Secretary of State?
and Vivek are finding out that America is very much so racist that they won't put brown people in positions of power. You know who else found that out? Tim Scott.
But you know what though? If you did the poll show that if it's Nikki versus Biden, she smashes him.
Which I don't get that. First of all, who the fuck are we polling? It's based on house phones.
I know, but I agree. The polling is ridiculous. But the point is that what Democrats or what middle of the fence people are okay with fucking Nimrata, but not Trump or not Biden. Like that's the weird one. So it's like Trump and Biden are 50-50, but when she becomes, all of a sudden 20% of people flip. 20% of Democrats are, I'll go for the crazy anti-gay psycho Christian fake Indian.
Look, there is no doubt. There's no doubt a thing that Republicans have had this dream of electing a somewhat hot woman either in the executive branch, either one or two, whether it's Palin or now Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley, but not my type. It's just this weird thing where they'll prop up a dumb just bag of titties.
Well, a bag of titties. His bag of titties.
I was playing the Utah. We were talking about how much we love those.
That's why I said bag of titties.
But it's a couple comments really quick. He said Zen says the Indian delegation has agreed to trade Nikki for the second round draft pick and cash.
But also look at Vivek. Vivek is finding out. Now, hey man, listen, understand something. When you refuse to say anything bad about the dude you're supposedly running against, and his supporters still don't support you. They still don't give you any love. And the next thing you do is still play to his base. It means one of two things. Either you don't understand politics or you are that person. Now, let me explain this to Black and Brown and anybody out there that wants to not understand how America works with racism. Now, I'm not talking about the good white folks that actually exist and believe in
Ian, that's us.
You too. That's you two guys and the people on our show. But
he's one of the good ones.
Yeah, exactly. I'm speaking about the racists. And I can't say this enough. And this is not a generalization. I'm just going off history. So what I'm about to say is based off history of what I've seen and what's documented. Racists only like white people. Period. White racists only respect white people. Racists only acknowledge white people. Racists only give a fuck about white people. Now, with all that said, under that umbrella falls if you're a useful puppet, we'll use you. Tim Scott, Herman Cain, Vivek, Herschel Walker, Nikki Haley, we'll use you. But you will never, ever, Candace Owens.
Did you say Herman Cain?
Yeah.
Okay.
You will never, ever have a position. Jason Whitlock, there you go. Thanks a lot, Corey.
Whoa, shit.
Have a position of power in our eyes. This is what trips me out about this because, and we said it on last week's show, if Nikki Haley truly believed that this was not a racist country and that most white people are not racist, why would you not play towards them? Why would you not play to that group of white people that's like, yeah, we want to see something different than Trump. We want to see something better. We're still conservative. We're still Republicans, but we want something different. She didn't do that. She plays to the racism. And what she doesn't understand, this is what trips me out about politicians. They don't like you either. They don't like you either. Somebody once said this to me years ago when we started doing the show and we started talking about politics, and they said, well, aren't you worried about, fucking up when you go to comedy clubs and this and that and dealing with racist people? And I said, well, to be honest with you, if a person is racist and they are only tolerating me because I'm performing for them, but they don't care about me before, after I get on that stage, then why do I give a fuck about that person?
Right.
Well, why do I care about them if they don't care?
You might lose the racist crowd.
Right. So.
Oh my God, Ty, you just walked the Klan.
I know, right? we had the Klan watching. So,
but it's okay though. It's hard. It's hard to see their reaction anyway with the hoods.
I know that's the best part. Really.
But I want to show you guys this clip. And this is what I said where Texas is in the play in here. And then I want to get Sam's opinion on this. This is my new favorite white guy. My school.
No, I remember when I was the new favorite white guy.
Yeah, but you got you're second right now, just for right now.
That's fine. Hey, like Fritz said, the rankings are always able to change.
Right, that's right. They can always change within the family. So hold on, honey. Here we go.
Comprehensive immigration reform up here for decades.
And by the way,
listen to the immigration reform up here.
Look at his eyes. You can see the look in his face of, God damn it, they know we're shitty people.
For decades. But if you listen to the witnesses, some of them, and if you listen to my colleagues, you would think the world didn't begin until President Biden was elected. You would think it was dinosaurs, the wheel, Jesus, the world was flat, the world was round, Biden was elected, every problem. Like nothing happened before. People pretend like everything was just perfect. But you know what? One of my colleagues, when bringing up statistics, showed why this is a farce. She brought up that President Obama deported more people than President Trump. In fact, President Obama deported more people in each term than President Trump.
Shouldn't they love him?
If the border wasn't a problem until President Biden was elected, then how were we deporting all of these people in administrations before Trump was elected? It's because this situation has been going on for decades. So stop lying to the American people that none of this happened until President Biden was elected.
Tell you what, I know that Republicans pretend that they hate censorship, but if there is one thing they hate worse, it's Congressman Jared Moskowitz giving their whole game away. And their game is actually really simple if you've been paying attention. Wail about the border on an endless loop, but especially in an election year. Fearmonger to your conservative base that brown people are coming to invade your communities. Drum up as much xenophobia as possible. And then when you're presented with an opportunity to actually, fix it, an opportunity to do your job and legislate, suddenly it's crickets from the same people who only 5 minutes earlier were claiming that the issue of immigration is existential. So as not to bury the lead for another second, the fact is that Republicans can't have this issue solved because they need it to run on. It is way, way, way more useful as a cudgel to wield against Democrats than anything else. And so they'll pretend that they want desperately to fix it, and when given the opportunity to fix it, they will run in the other direction faster than Josh Hawley when confronted with a mob of insurrectionists who he himself incited. Need proof that that's what's happening? Here's Jared Moskowitz again.
By the way, they don't want to solve this issue either. Again, don't listen to me. Just listen to the speaker. who was caught on a call the other day saying that we can't solve the border crisis until after the election. By the way, here's Congressman Troy Niels giving it all away. Giving it all away. Let's read this. Let me tell you, when he's talking about immigration, let me tell you, I'm not willing to do a darn thing right now to help a Democrat, to help Joe Biden's approval rating. I will not help the Democrats try to improve this man's dismal approval ratings. I'm not going to do it. He's saying he's not going to do anything on the border. And he's from Texas, which needs help. He's not going to do anything because he doesn't want to give Joe Biden a win. You have members of this committee that have threatened to vacate the speaker again if they do anything on the border. Senator John Thune has said this is a unique opportunity. He said when Trump was president and Republicans controlled both chambers, they couldn't get done the policies that are being discussed now. So look, I'm willing to do stuff on the border. I'm willing to do it. But they're not willing to do it because they're doing what people hate about this place. They want to use it to raise money. They want to use it to politicize it. But they don't want to solve the issue. There's a deal on the table. They can solve the issue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
To Moskowitz.
Okay. You guys, your thoughts?
I mean, look, this is what I've been saying forever. This is exactly what it's what they do. I was really surprised. Sorry. I was really surprised that they allowed abortion to be overturned because they have 2 issues. 3, guns. But that one's fading because even people are like, shit, maybe we should stop killing our children. But their issue is save the babies, abortion, save the babies. And these goddamn brown people with their fentanyl and raping our women and now they can't have abortions. Like those are their issues. So they got rid of one. Now the only issue they have, the only fake issue they have is the border. That's why they don't want to do anything. They never want to do anything about it. I'm surprised, even if that's probably why they didn't get it when they had all 3 chambers. Because if they get rid of the border problem, they have nothing left.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sam.
Well, first of all, I want to let Zin know, yeah, Mom did give me that Cubs hat for Christmas. So you're right, Zin. Miracles do happen. Terry was at a big Native American nonprofit conference a month or 2 ago. I'm left to my own devices. I'm driving to the CBD store and I drive by the abortion clinic where they have protesters out there every day. And I've been wanting to pull in there and start shit with them forever, to which when Terry's in the car goes, what are we going to, what's your plan? I pull up. I asked the crazy white lady, hey, can I see your flyer? First of all, pro-life, she almost walks into fucking traffic. I almost hit her. So you're not that pro-life if you're not looking where you're walking into the fucking street.
Well, she's hoping
for a flyer. I take a look at it. I go, what are you doing wasting your time? Why are you out here? It's cold. Don't you have something better you should be doing? Don't you have something at home you could be doing? Just take a look at the flyer. They're killing innocent babies. Probably my greatest take never on film. I take a look at the flyer, a long take, throw them out the window and peel off. Okay, that has nothing to do with policy. Look, if Batman kills the Joker, who's he going to fight? Right? You got to put him in jail so he can get out again, and we still have another story to tell.
Well, did you see one of the interviews? By the way, the lady said, in going back to his first clip, the one of those interviews of interviewing dipshit MAGA people. The guy was interviewing her, and she goes, Joe Biden has gone all to hell, and blah 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 blah. And she's like, and we just need to return this back to the way the country was 10 years ago. And he goes, oh, so 10 years ago, you like the way it was 10 years ago? She goes, everything was amazing 10 years ago. It was the greatest of all time ever. And he goes, oh, so back when Obama was in office. What? No, Obama, no, white power. Like, she went off the rails.
I hate to be this guy, Republicans, but Joe Biden authored the crime bill of the 90s that put, like 1.5 million new cops on the street.
Yeah, but see, all
the thin blue line shit. But again, I'm bringing facts to a fucking dumb fight, as my mentor Jason Stanford would say.
Well, but this is what I mean by them throwing
Abbott
out
can't feel his dick. You guys know that, right?
who? Abbott? Yeah, that's probably why he's so fucking mean.
You know, he went recently within the last month or two. He went and skydived with a like 100-year-old World War II vet who did it without anyone on his back, and that guy just came down. He's like 102. Just, fucking look like B.A. Baracus coming down.
Dun, dun, dun.
And meanwhile, Abbott is on somebody's chest, pissing and shitting in his pants. He has no idea he's doing it. He can't feel his legs. We're trying to figure out where we're landing. Abbott has like this helmet on. Boy, talk about Texas tough.
Man, but this is why.
Help us.
But this is
Stand
why.
to help.
When I see this, and I say, well, look, man, it's there. Like I didn't have to dig deep to find those clips. They're there. They're right there. They're on the same internets that that they have. I don't have a broad bandwidth or 10G. I have the same G's.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb, Ty, and say you're not Tony Stark.
That's right. Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have Stark Technologies yet. But my entire point is that information is there. So I go back to the thing I said about the home warranty company. If that information is right there and you can go look and you say, well, hold on, let me see. Moskowitz just said that they don't want to solve the problems. Let me go see. I can go look at voting records of Republicans on the border, and you'll see it. Now, the reason why they won't do it is two reasons. One, it'll fuck up their brains because they're like, well, that destroys my narrative and I've been on the same team the whole time. I don't know how to be on another team. Two, they're dumb as fuck. So it's easier for them to be told. So I never said I don't understand why Republicans do what they do. I get why they do it. I don't understand why the Republican who claims to be somewhat smart doesn't look at it and say, well, God damn it, I live in Texas. I'm fucking tired of this goddamn border issue, man. What the fuck?
Because the ones who claim to be smart
shut down the border, and shut down the border in my state. The state goes up, belly up overnight. Let's not even play. There's nobody cooking anything in any restaurant. I got to stop JE real quick in the comments because I took offense to this. He said I made fun of cripples more than once. And I got to say, if you're in a wheelchair and you rule as a state Supreme Court justice that the Americans with Disabilities Act is unconstitutional, then we're bashing up the ramps. You're not getting into work. I'm sorry.
I gotta push back a little bit on Abbott. I understand what you're saying, JE, because JE is a good dude.
I know.
But and JE was saying, like, yeah, he goes, well, hello. He's like, Jay's like, we goes, we all cripples. He goes, we shit in diapers. He's like, so I get it, you know. But
that's what I said. So
he's not making fun of people in wheelchairs.
But Jay's not telling women they're going to go to prison because they don't want to have their uncle's.
You're making fun of a shitty person in a wheelchair.
He's making it harder for other people in uncle's babies. Okay,
right. And that's what I mean by like this thing of people not understanding that. I'm just tired of believing in people, bro.
I'm with you, Ty. I don't want to be that dude, but
I'm just tired
anymore, man.
Do you understand this? When that dude gets back in office, do you understand? Do you understand how bad it's going to be?
I do.
And just understand from the PR standpoint. Do you understand? There are other countries that are looking at America and saying, "Well, wait a minute, hold on, wait, with a dude who has to go to court." And who actually will probably get found guilty at least on 2 of these major things and will be a convicted criminal is going to be your next president after fucking up and getting 1 million people killed.
That's after the rape stuff, though, right?
After all of this.
Okay.
The rest of the world looks at this and says, how the fuck did you all allow that to happen? In the day and age of these things existing, in the day and age of technology existing, how did a bunch of fucking adults allow one fucking con man criminal to not only get in office once, but twice? Now, I said that to say this, and I have to show you I wasn't even going to show this last one because it kind of really was like, God damn, it hit home.
Oh man, is it Hunter Biden's dick?
No,
I hope so.
but I want you guys to see this because I love that this guy has this passion. But I want to show this, and then we got to get ready to bounce in a little bit. But I got to show you guys this because it's nice to see someone that doesn't look like me understanding the ramifications of what will happen once he gets back in. And I'm telling you again, he will be president again. I promise you that. So hold on here. And here we go.
In this country, that's what this is.
Actually, Vivek, no, we're not in a fucking war. And that's the problem, y'all. We've got two fucking spoiled rich kids sitting on a stage telling us that we should be at war with each other, that we should be pointing weapons at each other over what used to be policy issues, tax rates, health care for poor people, whether or not we should have an $850 billion a year defense budget. These are called policy issues. These are not issues to point weapons at each other over. Not issues to go to war with your fellow Americans. This is exactly what people in the world like Vladimir Putin and our enemies in China and Iran, this is exactly what the fuck they were hoping for when they worked to get Donald Trump elected president. They got it. Vladimir Putin hit a fucking grand slam. This is the best investment Russia has ever made in their defense against the United States, is get Donald Trump elected and turn all you fucking MAGA traitors into fucking Russian assets. Because now, in your head, you think it's perfectly acceptable to want to secede from the Union or perhaps start a civil war over immigration, over fucking tax cuts, over our defense budget. That's worth starting a civil war over. That is worth throwing away 200 years of our constitutional republic. And this is exactly why we can't take you motherfuckers seriously anymore. Because you've completely lost the fucking narrative. And you have forgotten what this country is all about. And those of us who still remember, who are still clinging to this democracy like we are fighting for it daily, we're fighting against you. We're fighting against you because you want to tear down this country over policy disagreements. You motherfuckers can't even get along with each other. You guys can't keep a speaker for more than fucking 3 or 4 weeks. And you think we're the fucking problem? Nah, bro. Get the fuck out of here. We've had enough of this shit. Start negotiating like adults, like politicians are supposed to do. And we certainly aren't going to be lectured on a 1776 moment by two spoiled rich kids who, if there ever was a civil war, they sure as fuck wouldn't be fighting in it. Neither would their kids. Neither would any of their rich fucking friends. They wouldn't be fighting in it. It'll be you and me, motherfuckers, fighting over a couple fucking rich politicians. I wish this country was what I grew up thinking it was.
This is the part that fuck with me, bro.
Who is this guy?
I wish this country was what I was taught it was. But all it took was one fucking con man. And all you patriots threw it away over one fucking con man that continues to lie to you even today. Even as he's being held liable in court for his lies, he continues to lie to you because his ego is so big, it's bigger than the country. It's bigger than the Constitution. And you guys fell for it. And you will drive this country into a ditch over one fucking con man.
A couple things real quick. Couple things. One, best wrestling promo I've ever seen in my life. That was incredible. I hope he's at Royal Rumble next weekend.
I don't know. I just came across the video on TikTok, and I just shared it.
We need more guys who look like that, because if I bump into that guy at the grocery store, I don't for a second think that this is what he's going home to do.
You know what? That's a fair point. Really fair point. That's true. That's true. What are your thoughts, Ian?
I think some of the shit we got here, to some extent, based on how splintered we let the Democratic Party get with the ideology, the identity stuff. I mean, I remember working for Julian Castro's campaign, and my experience on campaigns weren't taken seriously. I was a straight white guy. What the fuck did I know? And that was openly the attitude among that campaign. There's a reason why that guy didn't win that primary. Didn't help that I was working for him. But I'm just saying, when that, we softened up our own offenses, and then we threw Joe up to save the day again.
But go ahead, Ian. I'll save my thoughts for after. And I know we got to agree bounce here in a little bit, you guys.
Yeah, I definitely got to go. But no, I mean, look, the guy was right on. I mean, I don't know, more people need to do that. Need to stand up and say that and say stuff. I don't know. I mean, he's right on, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Is it enough? I don't know. Is it enough? I don't know.
Ian, I think what you're wondering is, does anything stick anymore?
Yeah. I mean, is anybody seeing it the right? I mean, yeah.
See, now when people do that, when people say that,
what did I say? What did I do that upset you?
Well, when people say, did it stick? It's just weird to me that nothing seems to stick on the right, but
everything sticks on us.
Every single Joe Biden's old. Oh, he's old. Oh, he's old.
Well, and then we run with the shit. What the fuck?
He's getting shit done. He's on the bike. Well, he's old. Well, Trump's only 3 years different. Well, he's old. Well, Trump, he's old. This guy is 3 years. He's old. And the stutter. Oh, well, he stutters. This guy literally can't pronounce certain words. He can't spell hamburger. He can't spell tap. He actually can't read teleprompters. But this guy stuttered.
Look, like 2 nights ago, I went off on a rampant in my living room about the fact that Joe Biden, as a young boy, was told he was retarded because he had a stutter. Okay, then he gets through school, becomes a fucking stud, clean as a whistle, no pot, no alcohol, no hippie shit, passes up a Penn State quarterback opportunity to chase a woman for true love. That woman dies in that car wreck. I mean, Joe Biden has the ultimate. If it was a Robert Zemeckis movie, we would go, that's fucking bullshit. That would never happen.
But you have to understand something, man. And this is the part that, like I said, that angers me about us on the left, because if I keep saying it, if it was just Trump supporters that were saying certain things, I really wouldn't mind, because they're a small percentage. But I'm seeing more and more people that say they're not Trump supporters falling for the bullshit. The single issue voters, and it's like, which again, if you're a single issue voter in 2024, please go smack yourself in the face. But this is going to be on us. I showed that clip, by the way. I showed that clip because I wanted the rest of Trump, I wanted the rest of America to see that it's going to be our fault. It's going to be our fault for that guy getting back in. Trump supporters are going to go vote. They've already told you. They don't want to hear shit you say negative about him. I don't want to hear shit in there. I'm not even looking at it. I'm not paying attention, blah, blah, blah. The rest of us don't have an excuse. The rest of us, we don't sit there and this is what we say, at least. The rest of us say we don't watch just Fox or Fox News or Breitbart or right-wing media. We say we watch everything else. We say we watch PBS, BBC, and MSNBC, CNN, ABC, local news. We watch all of it. So if we're watching all of it, and we see the numbers about the economy, the jobs numbers, and we see about the GDP. We see how the inflation's coming down. We see how gas prices are coming down. Why are we still of the mindset that he's just too old? Hey, man, let me say this to you again. Once that motherfucker gets back in office,
it's gonna be bad.
I don't want to hear a fucking word from anybody. Don't talk to me about politics. Don't talk, and don't none of you. And by the way, just so you guys know, I remember every single fucking one of you. I remember every single one of you that said, "Oh, both parties are the same. Oh, both parties are doing the same thing. Oh, there's no difference." I remember every single one of you dumb motherfuckers. I will never forget you motherfuckers for destroying this goddamn country. And then, by the way, what I found is really the funniest thing about all of this shit is that these are some of the same people that worried that people that look like me were going to destroy the country. These are the same people that thought black and brown people were going to fuck up the country, and they literally gave it away. Fuck you, motherfuckers.
No, I know, man. I know dope music and super hot women. That was definitely going to ruin everything. So we were wrong on that one.
I just made a bet. Who that was that? Robert? Who did I go at?
Yeah, I saw that. You straight up
Robert. I made a bet. Hey, so I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna go ahead of time, Rob. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is how it's gonna go. He's gonna get back in office. You're gonna Venmo me the $50, and then it'll be the end of Critical and Thinking Podcast with Ty Barnett and Ian Harris. I'm out. I'm not bullshitting. I won't be. The only thing that keeps me going is the hope that people will be better. That's the only thing. And once he gets back in, it'll be the nail in the coffin showing me that we're not better. We don't deserve it.
Well, let me ask you guys this question. I've been thinking this whole time, and I've been wanting to ask you guys this for the last little bit since I've last talked to you guys. Is there a chance that Biden doesn't make it to election day? I'm not saying because he's old. It's nothing on Joe. It's due to the hype.
The hype for what?
Our side saying he's old, their side saying he's old.
But you see and this is not a knock on you, Sam. This is not a knock on you. But you see how you just did this? Both of them are old. Both of them are old. They're 3 years apart.
No, that's not what. But my point I'm trying to make, Ty, is that, like you said, it sticks on us. And our side, for whatever reason, it now picks up on their propaganda. Whereas our offense should be going, the man has syphilis. He wears a fucking diaper. He's doing pills. He's a rapist. He's throwing a fit.
Hey, man, we could hope. I hope that Trump is not around. I hope that. But I just don't understand how one person is seen as this when they're both in the same age range. I don't understand.
If you put them up age to age, there's no argument that Biden is extremely more successful. Extremely more.
That's all I'm saying. So we should go by the actual job performance. I posted a video just make as a joke. I wasn't even being. I had to act it out like I was being serious. But I posted a video, and all I said in the video was, "Hey, I need you guys' advice because a friend of mine is mad because her kid was told that even though they're getting A's and B's in school, the teacher said they're going to fail them because they don't feel like their kid is passing." That's what the teacher said.
Doesn't feel like it. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and I said I agree with the school because the feelings should be enough. Do you know how many motherfuckers came on my page, all 3 pages, and said, "What the fuck is wrong with you? How do you think you can't grade somebody off of feelings? You got to go by the actual grades. You got to go by the actual scores." And I'm like, yes, that's how it should fucking be. Yes.
McFly, hello.
So it trips me out that they don't understand that when it comes to voting, when they say, "I don't feel like Joe Biden's doing a great job. I don't feel like inflation's."
Ty, you talk about, I don't mean to catch up, but you talk about wanting people to be better and hoping people will just be better. And I think there's something about our country where we would rather live in the shit turmoil at this point of the drive-by, wake up to the tweet and be in the panic attack all day, waiting for the next shoe to drop, because it's a little more exciting than it is when everything's just going fine.
Well, I can tell you, man, we about to find out.
We are. No, we're about to find out real fucking quick.
So,
Hey guys, I hate to cut this off, but I'm like 20 minutes over. We're 20 minutes over, and I'm like super late. So we gotta close this out.
wrap it up quick. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Sorry for the quick exit. I want to thank our guest Sam Slade. Thank you so much for being here, bro. You know you always welcome on the show, my man. You family.
You guys are the best.
Thank you to everybody that tuned in, everybody that commented, and I have no empathy. I'm out. Go ahead.
See you next Thursday, right here at Critical and Thinking Podcast, noon every Thursday on Facebook.com/Critical and Thinking, and also on our YouTube page, Critical and Thinking. We'll see you next week.
Critical and Thinking Podcast. Ty Barnett.
Ian Harris.
Peace. We out.
Sam Slade, I guess.
Sorry, guys.